Have you ever noticed something strange when life feels overwhelming, when your mind is tired, when your heart feels heavy? Just hearing your mother's voice can instantly make you feel better. She doesn't have to fix your problem. She doesn't need to give advice. Sometimes she doesn't even say anything special. Yet something inside you softens. Your breathing slows, your chest feels lighter, and for a moment the world feels safer. Why does this happen? Is it just emotion? Or is there something deeper, like psychological, neurological, and biological, behind the claiming power of a mother's voice? Today, we will explore this question through the lens of psychology. The first voice the human brain ever learns. Psychology tells us something remarkable. A mother's voice is not just familiar, it is the first voice our brain ever recognizes. Research shows that while a baby is still in the womb, the developing brain begins to recognize sounds. And among all sounds, one becomes dominant, the mother's voice. At that stage, the baby doesn't understand language. There is no concept of the word, no logic, no meaning. Yet the brain learns one thing: this sound means safety. That association becomes deeply wired into the nervous system. So, from the very beginning, a mother's voice becomes the brain symbol of protection. And whatever the brain links to safety in early life often becomes a source of calm for the rest of life. How the nervous system responds. To understand this deeper, let's talk about the nervous system. The human body operates mainly through two systems. One, sympathetic nervous system, like activates stress, fear, fight, or flight. Two, parasympathetic nervous system, activates calm, rest, and healing. When we are stressed, heart rate increases, breathing becomes shallow, muscles tighten, and the brain stays on alert. But studies shows that hearing a mother's voice lowers cortisol, like the stress hormone, activate parasympathetic system, slows heart rate, and relax the body. In simple words, a mother's voice tells the body you can rest now. This is why the relief feels physical, not just emotional. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. There is a hormone called oxytocin. In psychology, oxytocin is known as the bonding hormone, the trust hormone, and the love hormone. Oxytocin is released when a mother holds her child. A child hears a comforting maternal voice, and emotional connection is felt. What makes oxytocin powerful is this: it doesn't just create warmth, it actively reduces fear. So, when you hear your mother's voice, anxiety decreases, emotional tension softens, and the mind feels supported. That's why people say, I talked to my mother and my heart felt tighter. It's not imagination, it's chemistry. Attachment theory and emotional safety. Psychology has a well known concept called attachment theory. According to this theory, a mother becomes a child's safe base. A safe base means a place where you feel accepted, a source of emotional security, a presence that doesn't judge. Even as adults, No matter how independent we become, the brain still recognizes the mother as that safe base. So, when life feels confusing, when relationships disappoint, when the world feels cold, a mother's voice silently communicates, "You are not alone." That message alone can stabilize a collapsing emotional state. Why even a scolding voice feels different? Here's something interesting. Even when a mother scolds you, her voice still affects you differently than anyone else. Psychology explains this through intent recognition. The brain doesn't just hear words, it interprets intentions. A mother's tone carries care, concern, and protection. So even her anger doesn't feel like rejection, it feels like guidance. This is why a mother's strictness still feels safe, while someone else's criticism feels painful. When the mother is no longer present, now a sensitive truth. People who have lost their mothers often say memories of a voice bring tears, recordings of a voice bring comfort, and even imagining her words brings calm. Psychology explains this beautifully. Once a voice becomes a safety imprint, the brain doesn't erase it, it stores it permanently. So, even in absence, a mother's voice continues to regulate emotions from memory. This is why her presence never truly disappears. A mother's voice and the adult mind. Adults struggling with anxiety, overthinking, and emotional exhaustion often experience instant grounding after speaking to their mother. Psychologists explain this as inner child soothing. When an adult hears their mother's voice, the nervous system remembers safety. The inner child feels seen. Emotional pressure decreases. For a moment, the brain stops fighting the world, and their moment of rest can be incredibly healing. In conclusion, so a mother's voice is not just a sound, it's a biology, psychology, emotional memory, and nervous system regulation. If your mother is alive today, listen to her voice, talk to her, and don't take her presence lightly. And if your mother exists only in memory, remember this: a mother's voice never truly fades. It simply moves from the ears to the heart. Because sometimes the most powerful therapy in the world is not found in words, but in a mother's voice. If you like this video, please share your friends and family members and subscribe Trade Sense YouTube channel. Thank you.